Hey guys, another video on a Mazda 3. This one's a 2008 model. Need to replace the drive belts, or at least I think I do. It's coming on to 200,000 Ks now, and it's making some noise from the belt area. Well, I think it's a belt, but no harm in doing it and doing a video as well on it. So what I'll do is I'll start it up and let you listen to it, and let's go from there. Okay, so it's a manual, and let's start it up. You can hear it already. So that's the number. And I think it's about because when I do the old spray, I don't know if you can hear me still. I spray it with some WD-40 and the noise goes away. It's temporarily like it. So if I spray some WD-40, goes away, and then it does come back almost, in a minute at the moment. But that's better, and no harm in doing the belt anyway. Okay, so let's get stuck into it. So as I was saying, yeah, the noise has already come back. So go ahead and replace the belts. Now on the Mazda 3, on this model anyway, there's two belts. There's one, and I'll put some diagrams up of the belt map, or how it rotates around. There's two belts, so there's one that goes around the main one, the Serpentine or drive belt they call it, goes around the tensioner here at the top that allows you to loosen it, the alternator, water pump, and I think that's it basically. And the other one is around the AC unit. It's down below there. I'll just turn the light on and have a look. Yeah, so the one is down there, if you can see that there. It's called a stretchy belt. That one there. So that's the one that goes around the AC. Now, you have to do both as far as I can tell. You can't remove or replace the drive or Serpentine belt without doing the AC belt, because you have to take the AC belt off in order to take the Serpentine belt off. And the AC belt, the easiest way to do that is just to cut it off, from what I've been told and seen. So you have to loosen this belt up the top, take it off, and then take the wheel off, and part of some plastic down under the car to get access to the AC belt itself. So we'll go ahead and do that now, okay? So this is what you need for the job. So a breaker bar is best to get some extra leverage, and a 14mm socket for the tensioner, a 10mm socket for some bolts under the car to remove some of the trim or plastic covering around the wheel, a torch just to see better, some cable ties, some gloves, a pair of scissors to chop, some brick if you don't have anything to stop the car from going backwards forwards. It's all about safety. I've got a trolley here to jack it up, some safety wheel to take the wheels off with some leverage, and of course the belts themselves. So these are the ones I shopped around, and I'll put these up on the video, the part numbers. Shopped around and got a really good deal. I think local shop, didn't have to wait for eBay or anything. came down to like $69 for both. It's a very good deal after doing some shopping around. Okay, I might even put the link up of the shop actually. A very good service there. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so on this model is the driver's side wheel, so I'll just take the wheel nuts off, put the jack in place. I've got my safety, got the brakes on the other side as well. So let's get onto this. Okay. Usually there's markers underneath telling you where you can place the jack. There it is. Okay. Like that angle. Jack of it. Okay. That looks good. I want to make sure it's on leg properly. Looks good. Okay. And now let's do some nuts off first. Okay. Before we jack it up, obviously. Okay. Okay. I've loosened the nuts. Time to jack it up. Okay guys, wheel is off. I've got access to that panel there that I need to take off to get access to the belt. I've got my trolley still there. An old trick that my dad used to say, put the wheel under for extra safety. I'd rather lose a wheel than my leg. And there's a stand just to help with some more extra safety. Okay, so let's remove this panel here. So there's two 10 mils, one and a plastic screwdriver clip there. So two 10 mils. Okay, so some of that. We'll get this off. And there's two underneath as well, so one there and one there. So I've got those two screws. Apologies guys. Yeah, so you need a screwdriver to take that screw off. 2 bolts up top, 2 down the bottom. Let's just get this off. Okay, and then we'll take that plastic bracket off. This is one of those plastic screws that the slower you go, the better it is. So it's a bit of a pain. You have to get the right screwdriver, and then it's a matter of just, I find sometimes it's easier with the hand. Take that off, remove the paneling, and you've got access to, or better access. There it is. Okay, so it looks like there's a bit of space there to work with for the aircon. That's good. Let's get cracking. So now we get the breaker put on the top, and using a phone, one hand for the phone and one for the job. So what you do is just push forward like that, which releases all the tension, and you can now just use the other hand to take it off. I'll just turn off the phone for a sec guys, okay? Okay. Okay, there it is, off now. This tensioner pulley goes back a long way, you'd be quite surprised. So you take it off the alternator down there, and then you have to snap the AC belt. Alright. To get it off, see, you can't get the drive belt off without, let's have a look. Oh yes you can. Sorry guys. Look at that. Can you? Let's have a look. Yeah. Can you? No, you can't. So you have to, playing tricks on myself there. You have to cut the AC belt in order to replace both. I thought I was in luck there for a second. See, rookie. All right, let's get to it. Chop, 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 chop. There's always I don't know. When you start these jobs, you got to finish it. So, let's chop. Is it going to be good enough to chop it? I don't know. I'll have to use two hands, guys. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, guys. So this is as, or even pliers aren't going to work. So I brought out the Swiss Army knife. Let's see how this goes. I've had this Swiss Army knife for a while. Alright, let's get through it. Oh. Where's that groove? Is that it? We might have to use two hands, guys, okay, so bear with me. Okay, that's done it. Good old Swiss Army knife has done it. Now, I say to wear gloves, but it's a bit hard to turn off and on the phone when you've got gloves on. So anyway, that's the belt. That's the old belt. I really don't know if it's that bad. Here's the dry belt. So you're supposed to see, look for cracks and that sort of thing. Doesn't look too bad either, but you know, over time I suppose they need to be replaced. Anyway, I don't know when this was last replaced, so it's good to do it anyway, regardless of whether it fixes the noise, which I'm praying it does, or not. Let's get the new belts over. Alright, so that's the AC one, and let's measure them up. Hopefully, another thing is, got to make sure they're the same size as well, right? So that's the AC one. I'll have to measure that off camera, but it looks similar. Let's move that over there. That's that one. Let's keep that packaging so I can put that up in the link. And that's the dry belt. That looks pretty good as well, but I'll measure that up off camera. I need two hands. So let's get cracking. Alright, so there is a trick to putting the AC belt on because there's no tensioner. Basically you need to put it around the bottom, so we'll put the dry belt on first and then the AC one on last, because that's the order it goes in. It looks like we've got enough space underneath because some of these cars, sometimes you don't have enough space to go put the belt underneath there and you have to loosen that bracket apparently. But with this one we'll put the dry belt on first and then we'll put the AC belt on, and that's where the zip ties come in handy. I've seen some tricks, so hopefully we'll get onto that and that works. So okay, let's do this. So feeding it through from the top is the easiest, and then hooking it onto the crank on the motor and then back up onto everything on the way back up. So just wanted to point that out. Okay guys, I found that, yeah, dropping the belt down, I've got it on now, I just need to check it, but dropping the belt down and then putting it onto the crank first, there, the top one, okay, and then coming up and getting it onto the alternator down below. Again, I'll put diagrams up, onto the alternator and then around onto the water pump, just there. That's the water pump there, and then so back around under and over the water pump, and then putting, once you've got it up top here, then putting the belt the socket in place and putting the belt, just putting the socket in place, not the bar, just the socket, and then putting the belt around that, and then putting the belt, the bar back on the socket, and then you're able to push back, right, all the way. There's a big, that's it there. You can go more actually. So right there, okay. You can go all the way back and making sure, and then you can put that belt over the top slowly. It's not easy, and what you need to do is I had to adjust it, so I had to come back down and make sure it was on the crank properly there. So it was a bit over on this side. I had to push it over to give me some slack, and then I got it on. Okay, so eventually I got it on. Didn't take that long. So what I'll do now is just use the wheel nut brace, just to, because it's the same size as the bolt on the crank, just to turn it in the right way. So for here, I'm going clockwise. To turn the belt around to make sure it's in place. That's all. And you will need to do this anyway for the AC belt. Okay, so I'm just twisting it to make sure things are in place now. I'll just check the belt. Oh, that feels better now already. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Looks all in place. I'll just check this tensioner again. Okay. Looks good, feels good. So I'll just put that over and then we'll get onto the AC belt. So it looks good. It's on the comes off the crank onto the alternator under the water pump, and then over up to the tensioner. Okay, looks good. So I'll get into the AC belt now. Alright guys, so this is where the zip ties come in. Put the belt on at the bottom on the AC unit, and then you got to put the zip ties around the crank. Now what's stopping it sometimes is these teeth, so you got to find the gap there between them to get the zip ties in through there. So through there, and then you'll find your way down behind the teeth, as you can see. So I'm going to put 2 on. Let's see how that goes. Some people putting 4, 5. I'll see how 2 go with these, and might have to put 2 more on. So once you put the zip ties on, the theory behind it is you turn the crank, and that should hold the belt in place to stretch it enough to get it on as it rotates, and get it on, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Let's go. Okay guys, I got it on. The zip ties eventually break because there's too much push, I guess, or pull. Just got to rotate it enough to make sure it's on there properly again. They break off, see that? So take them off if you can. Just pull them away like so, because they break off. And I've got to tell you, it takes a bit of effort to turn and get it on, but it does go on. I had to use some extra tension with the wheel brace. So an old trick again my dad used to show me is if you don't have a bar long enough to go on the wheel brace, you can get one of these tools and just put it on as an extension and turn like that, right? So that can help as well. So I just want to make sure it's on there properly. It's on there properly on the crank. Just want to make sure it's on the AC unit itself. Yeah, let's see. Okay guys, I got it on. Now, it didn't
slide on all the way. You have to be careful to make sure, and that's why I've kept turning to make sure this pulley is in line with its grooves or teeth or whatever you want to call them. And it wasn't, so I had to turn like multiple times to make sure it was, and it still wasn't. So what I did was I just used this to push in as I turned. Not hard, just slightly, just a little bit of pressure, and was able to get it in one go basically, and turned it. And now I can feel it's definitely in position now. Alright, so both belts are on. That was quite straightforward, pretty good actually. Apart from that, just making sure the belt's on properly. I'll just check everything, make sure once again, just check the belts, do another rotate. Top belt, the Serpentine or drive belt, and the AC belt. I won't put everything back together. I may start it as is and see if it A, if it works properly, and B, if the noise is gone. So let's try that, okay? Okay, so that's the AC belt there. That's the AC belt there. It looks in place there. That's good. And that's the drive belt around the alternator. Alright, I think we'll start it up and see how she blows. I'm not going to put everything back just yet. We'll just turn it on. And I've got things in place, so just in case. Let's have a look. Okay, got it in neutral. Let's start it up and see. The noise is gone. That's awesome. Wow. Turn the AC on. Make sure that works as well. Okay. Come on. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. Oh, jeez. What's happened there? I'm back. Jeez. Okay. So the AC belt stops and starts. Is that right? Hey guys, yeah, as you probably heard in the video, I got a bit of a shock when that aircon unit stopped or paused. I'm just asking a mechanic friend of mine, but it seems to be normal behaviour. After changing the belt, especially when you're doing these sorts of jobs, you get a bit of a shock. I was going to edit that out, but I'm going to be real and keep it on because that's basically who I am. If I can do these things and come across issues and that sort of thing, then I might as well share and I'll let you guys know what's happening. So basically, I turn the car on, keep it in neutral, and I wanted to test the AC as well. So that looks like it's how it behaves. So when you have the AC on and working when it's needed, it's still rotating. It's just that turns off that mechanism and it looks like it's stopped rotating to stop the aircon running all the time, I suppose. So I'll turn it on.
I'll turn the AC on. Okay. And you can hear it, that noise you hear kick in when you're in the car is that. So it's running now, and then it's designed to stop when it's not needed. And the aircon is blowing really well, and I can actually speak now without that noise. And you can just hear the motor, not the belt anymore. So there it is, it stopped. And then it'll kick back in. To run again. Soon. There it is. So, okay, and the aircon feels really cold. So I'll turn the AC off and the fan, and that stops. So rotating, the belt is still turning, as you can see. The pulley, whatever system that is behind it, is still running. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything back together, put the cover on, put the wheel on, and we're good to go. That's basically how you change the belt, drive belt, and aircon belt on a Mazda 3. I'm very happy with that, the noise is gone especially. Alright guys, let's turn that off. Guys, thank you. Let's turn that back off and then say goodbye for now. Okay? Have an awesome week, day, year.